Good morning, my fellow yoga travelers. Mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Thursday, so it's my fairy tale day or story day. This one's in Grimm's called The Six Who Made Their Way Through the World. Well, there was once a man who understood all kinds of arts. He'd been a soldier for many, many years, had many, many wounds in battles, but really served to defend his country very bravely. But then when the war was over and he got older, they mustered him out, and all they gave him was 3 farthings. And he was really pissed for all those years of service and putting his life in risk. This whatever. I'm going to find a way to meet the right people, and I'm going to get all the treasure that I can from this country. So he's walking a little way or a long way or a short way or whatever time it takes in these stories, and all of a sudden he sees somebody like picking up trees and folding them like they're just like a bundle of grass. And he says, what are you doing? He says, well, I got to take this wood to my mom, but would you want to come with me? Because I'm sure the two of us can make our way together. And I said, okay, fine. So after he uprooted all these trees, and they were like twigs to this guy, they went on the way. And all of a sudden, they saw somebody kneeling down, a huntsman with a rifle. And they said, well, what are you doing? He says, I'm trying to shoot the eye out of a fly 2 miles away. You sound like a very interesting guy. You want to come with us? We can make our way in the world? He said, yes. Then they went a little way further, and all of a sudden they saw some windmills. And the windmills were like blowing all by themselves, and they were wondering, where's the wind coming from? And they walked on a little further, and all of a sudden they saw a guy doing left nostril breathing. And every time we would exhale, it would be so powerful it would turn the windmills. So the same thing, doing anything? Come on with us. I'm sure the 3 of us can make our way through the world. So they did. And then they passed by another guy, and this guy had one leg that was like a prosthetic device, and he was lying down, and he said, what's going on with that? You and the leg? He says, oh, I'm a runner. If I put this other leg on, I run faster than birds can fly. He said, very, very interesting. I think you should come with us. So now the 5 of them went down the road, and then the final one is they met another guy, and he had his cap on sideways. He said, you look like a tomfool. What are you doing with that? He says, no, you don't understand. If I put my head on straight, a chilling frost comes over, and everything freezes completely. Very interesting. I think you should come with us also. So here are the 6 making their way through the world. And they came to a kingdom where they heard the king said, I will give all my treasure to anyone who can run faster than my daughter. Because she was like unbelievably speed. All right. So our brave man said, well, listen, can someone run for me? I said, sure. Okay, fine. So they took the man who had the one leg, and they said, you got to do the race. You got to run a certain distance. You'll find a pool there, fill this jug of water, bring it back here, don't spill any, and then we win. He said, fine. So they blew the gun, and off they went. And although the king's daughter was fast, not like this guy, he was there in a trice, got the water, he started on his way back, and he said, I'm going to take a little rest. So he took his leg off, he relaxed down, and then by this time, the king's daughter caught up to him, and since he was snoozing with his head on an old skull of a cow, she took his water and poured it out, and then started to go. And then all of a sudden, the hunter saw with his great eyes, hey, I see what's happening there. And he aimed and he shot the cow's head from underneath the runner's. And he woke up and so he realized what happened. So he strapped his leg on and he got back to the place where he got the water, and he brought it, and he was still 10 minutes ahead of the queen's the king's daughter. So they're all amazed, but the king said, I'm not very, very satisfied with this. So we got to do something else. So we're going to have a great feast in their honor, and we're going to heat the room up. It's an iron room. So that's what they did. They were in there feasting, and they turned the heat on the room, and they thought that, this would be great. They locked the doors, and they couldn't get out, and they burned underneath the room so much fire, whatever. And they said, okay, this is the time for you, tomfool with the cap. So he put his cap on straight, and everything frozen. And after a couple of hours, they opened the door thinking they'd all be fried to crisp, and they were going, ooh, so cold in here. Oh, the king didn't like that. So he thought of one more thing. All right, if you'll get out of my kingdom, I'll give you all the money that you can carry. So they looked to the guy who was the tree bender, and they had 14 different tailors weave this monster-sized sack, and they brought 7 carts of gold in. That wasn't even barely could fill it. He said, this is all it is. Well, I'll take it for now. the treasury was completely empty. So off they went like that, and then all of a sudden, the king was really pissed about this, so he sent his army after this, and that didn't work. And they went to the blower, and all of a sudden he blew his nostril like that, and everybody in the army went way up into the air like that. But the blower saw that there was one guy who was a sergeant in their force, and he was really a kind man, even, and a brave man, and he didn't deserve to have an end like this. So the blower led him down gently. He said, "Go back to the king and tell him that if you try to overtake us one more time, I'll blow everybody away." And that's it. And so they split from the kingdom with all the gold, and it's true. They parted their ways, and they had enough money for everybody to live richly for the rest of their life. So, very interesting idea about how you meet companions along the way, and each one of them has some weird or special power that eventually can be put to use in the service of you reclaiming the treasure that's rightly yours. Hope you get it. Anyway, check it out in Grimm, called The Six Who Made Their Way Through the World. All right, nonetheless, journaling question for the day. What expectations do you have of the future? Is the future worth having? And if it is, how do you see yourself fitting into it? Let me know what you got in your mind. I'll let you know what I got in my mind. Now, my teacher is always talking about yoga as balance, where you have to challenge one side and counter-challenge the other side, and give keen attention and interest to the dull side. It's like a friend you want to help who's not keeping up. And then you do it until you balance the difference between right and left, plane to plane, limb to limb, muscle to muscle, joint to joint, front to front, front to back, top to bottom, inside and out, until the action combines with silence, and then your intelligence becomes great. Now, part of the metaphor is to realize that deep in the sea are riches beyond compare, but you won't find it if you seek safety on the shore. You got to risk something. And why are you willing to risk? Because separation from one's essence is the cause of all lack of fulfillment in life. We're disconnected from the source of our own existence. How can we possibly be happy? And this golden essence that we have is so powerful, it transforms whatever it comes in contact with. And it uplifts humanity to its next stage of evolution and development. So you got to touch it, right? Now, I often talk about the skeleton woman. It's another story where you reclaim the bones. You were searching just for a meal, and all of a sudden what you bring up is the life, death, life mother. I call it kissing the hag or marrying the not beautiful. And you have to prove you have the right intentions when you come in contact with the life, death, life mother. You have to comprehend her loneliness through no fault of her own. That's just who she is, how she is, and everybody wants to throw her away. Are you willing to touch that? Because it's going to appear to test your character. Your kindness is going to be rewarded with her, but if you revile and spurn her, you're going to get severed and punished. So what I've learned from my mentors, to stand fearless in the death that is conscious life. Everything is going to go. You have to learn to penetrate with uncompromising love the tension that you're going to feel about this. And we have the capacity to face each other's closure, the way people shut down. People get so pissed, and you have to learn to face their fury and learn how to minimize your reaction to it. Don't turn away. Strip the armor from your heart and die through to that which is deathless. And my rabbi always reminds me, you can't alter any condition, no matter how distressing, until you first totally accept it. Like acceptance is a kind of transformation. You find the same notion in fairy tales where the beautiful princess doesn't want to kiss the ugly toad. But when finally she does, or she throws it against the wall, or whatever the action is, it turns into a beautiful prince. So what you run from clings to you like a second skin. But when you stop running, and you turn around to face what you think is your adversary, it transforms himself into an ally that ennobles us. So, with that being said, my affirmation masters like to remind everybody every day that whatever you experience is your own concept of things. You make your own world by the way you think, and then you live in the world of the thoughts. As we think, so we are. So, remember this one-liner as you go out today. Wherever I am, I make the best of it. And as John Wooden, the old coach, used to say, things go better. Things go the best, for people make the best of how things go. Have a great day.